it's Jay, and sorry about the wait, but here's my take on the latest movie to hit HBO Max, Kong vs. Godzilla. So, let's get started. This film is the fourth film in the MonsterVerse, of course preceding Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, and Godzilla, King of Monsters. So let's see where we've left off in this MonsterVerse. So, 5 years after Godzilla's epic battle with King Ghidorah, Kong is being monitored by a monarch within Skull Island in a little dome. He's visited frequently by Gia, who is the last EY native to Skull Island, and she's also the adoptive daughter of Eileen Andrews, and she communicates with Kong using sign language because she is deaf. At the same time, Bernie Hayes, who is an employee of Apex Cybernetics, has his own podcast called the Titan Conspiracy Theories, where he talks about, conspiracy theories involving, Titans. And he read that there is some shady stuff going on at the Pensacola facility, at one of them. During this podcast, Godzilla actually comes and attacks the facility, and in the middle of a rampage, actually uncovers his big weapon. This girl, played by Millie Bobby Brown, named Madison Russell, is a huge fan of the Titan Conspiracy Theory podcast, and goes to go talk with this guy to see what else he knows. She takes her friend Josh, who is kind of reluctant to join, but they head over to, talk with this Bernie guy to see what he knows about Titans. So, Apex CEO Walter Simmons recruits Nathan Lind, who is a Hollow Earth believer, to go on an expedition to Hollow Earth to try to find a weapon. Nathan initially denies because his brother actually died on a mission to Hollow Earth, which Hollow Earth is the homeworld of the Titans, or like the birthplace of Titans. And he succumbed to that mission because of the anti-gravitational effect that took, place. However, Simmons, reassures Lind that everything will be fine because there's HEAVs to counteract any anti-gravitational energy. And so Nathan, while not too thrilled, he does decide to go on this mission to try to see if they can find this weapon in Hollow Earth. So Nathan meets with Eileen and convinces her to let Kong guide them to Hollow Earth via an outpost in Antarctica. So then she, Nathan, and Apex lead this expedition, also headed by Walter's daughter Maya. And during their convoy, Godzilla actually attacks and quickly defeats Kong. And in order to make Godzilla believe that they have been defeated, they deactivate their ships to kind of trick the lizard into thinking, they're defeated, they're dead, and he retreats. While this was happening before Godzilla attacked, they actually sedated Kong and had him on like a cargo ship to get, to lead him through, with the help of Gia, kind of convincing Kong to lead the way. So they airlift him to the actual Hollow Earth entrance, Kong that is. And again, Gia convinces Kong to lead the way. And so they continue with their journey into Hollow Earth to try to find this ancient Titan weapon that they've been searching for this entire movie. So, checking back with Madison and Josh, they have met up with Bernie, who joins in their investigation. And they head to this, a wrecked Apex facility that was just destroyed by Godzilla. And they find this underground base, which leads them to a train that takes them to Hong Kong, where there's a secret mission going on there, and it is discovered that they're actually trying to create Mechagodzilla using the skull of Ghidorah. However, there are, there's power limitations and everything like that, and let me just get the names here real quick, it's kind of complicated. Mechagodzilla is being controlled by Ren Serizawa, who is the son of Ishiro Serizawa, and yes, so that's not very good, and they're trying to use Hollow Earth's energy to power Mechagodzilla so that all these limitations of technology and anything like that are thrown out the window. So that doesn't really bode well, seeing as Mechagodzilla is just like Godzilla, but like 80 times worse. So now they're inside Hollow Earth, and they notice that there's an ecosystem very similar to Skull Island, and through some, just doing some research, they see that the Kongs had a great war with the Godzillas, and there's this weapon that's left behind from a Godzilla's backplate, like of course the spikes that are on Godzilla's back. And it's just revealed that a great war happened between the Kongs and the Godzillas. And Godzilla senses Kong in Hollow Earth and drills a hole directly to the throne room with his atomic breath. At the same time, Maya tries to harness the power of Hollow Earth like her father wanted. And, because they're involved with the Mechagodzilla project, And of course, that doesn't bode well with the group. And they try to escape, but Kong actually just takes their ship and just crushes it. So it wasn't really smart to cross Kong like that. But yeah, in the ensuing battle, Kong seems to have been defeated by Godzilla because he gets knocked out. But Godzilla definitely was getting his ass handed to him by Kong when he had that ancient axe. But it doesn't look like the fight's over yet because now a new challenger enters the ring. So Madison, Josh, and Bernie are caught by security and are brought to Walter. And Ren has some doubts in terms of if this is all even going to work, even with the energy from Hollow Earth. But Walter demands that he launch Mechagodzilla anyway. And of course, not being able to control this thing, he kills Walter and electrocutes Ren and goes on a rampage. Godzilla tries to fight him off, but it just isn't enough. And Godzilla is quickly overpowered by Mechagodzilla. Kong is still out for the count, and his heartbeat is actually slowing. And Gia senses this because she can't feel the vibrations. Because, of course, a monkey, an ape the size of Kong, is going to give off some powerful heartbeats. And so she can't feel the vibrations anymore. And using that HEAV, that heave, I guess you could call it, Nathan turns it off to kind of reset Kong's heart. And Gia signs to Kong that he needs to go help Godzilla. And a battle ensues. And it's still not enough. Even with Kong's help, Mechagodzilla is still way too powerful. Josh and Bernie are trying to find a way to short out Mechagodzilla. And they can't figure out a way until Bernie realizes to just spill a drink onto it. Kind of, just fry up the circuits with liquid getting to the circuits. I know it's kind of like a stupid way, but it didn't stop Mechagodzilla, but it momentarily shorted him out just enough for Godzilla to supercharge Kong's axe and able to take that final swing and take out Mechagodzilla. And, Mechagodzilla gets defeated. Godzilla and Kong have a mutual understanding that they are not each other's enemy, and they go their separate ways. Everyone is reunited. Madison's reunited with her father, and everyone is back together. After this huge battle ensues, Monarch is monitoring Kong, who is now ruling over Hollow Earth. And that was Godzilla vs. Kong. Now, being the fourth film in the MonsterVerse, I was actually very, very, very surprised that we didn't get an end credit scene or a post credit scene. I'm not saying that needs to happen in every cinematic universe, not at all, but it's still your fourth movie. You could have easily introduced another monster from the Godzilla days when they had all the monsters and everything like that. You could have had something, but there was nothing. There was no post credit scene, which actually really shocked me there. But in terms of my overall thoughts on this movie, I thought it was very boring. And it's sad to say, because this seems like such a intense concept. You have Godzilla and King Kong, two massive titans with numerous movies to their name and reboots and everything. They're names that everybody knows. And while the fighting between them was cool and all, everything else around it just kind of felt like filler. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Filler's great if it's done right. But there are scenes where I was on the phone the whole time because nothing was piquing my interest. And I even started to nod off at one point. It didn't do a great job at grabbing the attention that it needed. It kind of felt like, okay, when are we going to get to the next monster fight? And you guys know me. I'm very against that thought process of when's the next action sequence? I don't give a shit about all this development, if you get what I'm saying. I just felt like the stakes weren't there. I felt like the motivation to get the energy from Mechagodzilla wasn't dire enough. And when they actually do get the energy, it didn't feel like it was that big of a deal. Like, I know there was objections by Eileen and everybody about sending this to, create Mechagodzilla, but it just kind of felt like Willy Wonka trying to get Mike TV to come back from transporting himself. It just felt like, stop, don't, come back, and then that's it. They send it, and there's that. It didn't really feel like there was any weight to it at all. I know that Millie Bobby Brown's character and Russell from Deadpool 2 their whole motivation was trying to figure out more about God, because, she was in Godzilla, King of the Monsters. But, again, I didn't see what their purpose was. I understand that they went to go see what happened after Godzilla attacked the Apex facility, but why? What was the goal? to see, just to explore this destroyed Apex location. I don't know. Maybe I didn't catch it as well as somebody else who's a big fan of the MonsterVerse, because I'm kind of a bystander when it comes to the MonsterVerse, which I don't know. Maybe if I watch the first 3 films, maybe that'll make this film a little bit more interesting. But that is something I must admit. I haven't seen the other movies. So I'm kind of just basing this on my personal experience. Maybe after I watch the other 3, maybe I'll do like a quick revisited to see if my opinion changes on anything like that. But from what I've seen here, I just felt like it wasn't enough to keep me interested until, of course, the big monster fights happen, which were great, by the way. I thought that they came up with a great solution to make King Kong comparable to Godzilla, because you've seen all these memes. A lot of people thought that King Kong was going to win, which I'd say that there's no winner. I know that King Kong was down for the count for a bit there, but I think that it was a way better thing to have them get that mutual understanding instead of being like Godzilla wins or King Kong wins. But there's all these memes like, Godzilla's got claws and atomic breath and all this shit, and King Kong's just an ape, or as they call it, monkey, because it's just a funnier word. But I just completely lost track of what I was saying. No, the axe, and I thought that axe is a great way to kind of make the power levels a little even between these two, because while I was just jokingly saying that King Kong would win in my personal, time outside the movie, in the back of my mind, I always knew that Godzilla would have an upper hand because of all the assets that Godzilla has. So I think it was a great way to power, make the power balance a little bit more even between these two titans. I did like the history they made between the Kongs and the Godzillas, how there was this great war, and, the axe is made from Godzilla parts, like the spinal spikes and everything like that. So I thought that was really, really cool in terms of, just a way to get these two connected with each other. And it's cool that they brought back Ghidorah from the first movie, and it's nice they're introducing Mecha Godzilla. Who knows who's going to be next in this MonsterVerse, if this MonsterVerse even continues. I have no idea. It seems like they have no interest in continuing it since they haven't teased us with anything yet, but again, that's just the Marvel and me talking, where I guess I'm just expecting end credit scenes in universes now. But, I mean, if they have something up their sleeve, they have something up their sleeve. I don't think there's any future. I know they have that Skull Island animated show coming soon, but, not soon, but I know it's coming out, which is within this lore, but that's all I know so far. They don't really do what Marvel does and have, like, these big presentations where they talk about 7-8 movies at a time for a slated phase. But yeah, honestly, at the end of the day, this film was good. I'd say it was good, but there was just parts where it was like, let's just fast forward this. I just kind of felt the motivations were a little off. Ooh, forgot to mention, before I get to the final verdict and everything, I love Gia and Kong's relationship, because it's like thing where it's like just juxtaposition, right? And juxtaposition of the greatest caliber, where it's like you have this massive beast like Kong and a little tiny girl in Gia, and the way they communicate, Kong actually signs to her. I thought that was really touching and kind of gave us a way to bring Kong more to Earth, because I think King Kong's very misunderstood throughout any iteration of him, where it's like, there's this big ape, and he doesn't know much, he doesn't know how to act, and, he ends up taking women up to the top of the Empire State Building, because he just generally thinks they're pretty, but of course that's seen as monstrous, and they need to stop this thing. Understandably so. And so I think that just being able to sign to this little girl and not having any desire to hurt her or anything like that, and understanding who the threats are, because it's a detail you might miss if you watch the movie, but before he destroys Maya's helicopter, he looks inside first to make sure that I'm not crushing the one with Nathan or Eileen, or especially Gia in it. Little touches like that are great in terms of humanizing Kong more, instead of making him this mindless ape, if you get what I'm saying. So I thought that was handled brilliantly, and I would actually want to see more between their relationship in Skull Island if they explore that relationship more, which I really hope they do, because that's got to be one of my favorite parts of the film, just how they're able to connect like that. I thought that was really swell. I thought that was really great. But if you're a fan of the MonsterVerse, definitely check it out, because the monster fights are great. Don't get me wrong. They're really awesome. the Godzilla sneak attack when Godzilla attacks Apex, or when he attacks the convoy to Antarctica, and when Godzilla's fucking drilling a hole to hollow Earth with his atomic breath. It's a lot of good stuff from the monsters. It's just that I felt like the human aspect was a little boring, and just like I didn't think anything was really explained in terms of how they wanted the tone and the motivation. I didn't think they handled that very well. But other than that, I think this film is solid. I'm going to give it a solid 3 out of 5. It's a middle of the ground, good movie. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. Watch it if you want. I do think that fans of the MonsterVerse might see it a little bit differently than me. But again, maybe I'll revisit it after I've seen the first 3 films and see if there's any change to my opinion on it in terms of what I feel. Because now if I get maybe a more mutual understanding of the universe, maybe it'll change my mind. But until then, it's at a 3 that is subject to change if I ever get back to watching those films. But make sure you guys stay tuned where I get to MC Reviewed issue number 7. And don't worry, Star Wars Chronicle will be coming back next week. And I know I said that the past 80 videos, but I promise this time it actually will. It's just that Snyder Cut came out, and then this came out. And so by the time I went to go film Star Wars, the next Falcon and Winter Soldier episode came out, so I had to focus my time to that. And so there were just other things that kind of just got in the way of filming the Chronicle. But it will be back next week, I promise. Until next time, guys, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. All that stuff really helps me out. And until that next video comes out, that's a wrap.